We're in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and we're doing Get Your Guide's 3-hour foodie walking tour. I'm going to give you a behind-the-scenes tour, and I'm going to let you know whether I thought it was worth the $160 price tag. Ahoy sailors, my name is Rob, and I'm here to tackle Virgin Voyages one topic at a time. Welcome to OVT. So this foodie walking tour was a great way to see Old Town, try a few places that the locals love, and meet some other people who are there visiting San Juan. But was it worth $160? I had found out about it through a total stranger named Melissa, but it was the comment that she made that sold me on it. We had cruised out of San Juan, Puerto Rico a few weeks ago, and had a day to explore Old Town. So I had asked an online cruise group for excursion recommendations for our ship's total itinerary. And honestly, the only one that jumped out at me was this tour. What was the comment that sold me? Essentially, she said that we've been on tons of cruises and this is the best excursion we've ever done, and we would do it again. We were traveling with a few friends, so of course the first thing I did was tell them about it. I sent them the link, told them that I certainly didn't want to talk anybody into it, but we'd be doing it the day before boarding our cruise ship. Our friends William and Jeannie were only flying in that day, so they wouldn't be able to join us, but the 3 other couples were all in along with us. I booked the tour from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., figuring, or at least hoping, that we'd be completely stuffed afterwards, and maybe we'd just continue walking around town afterwards and get some drinks. We all met up at the cathedral right in the heart of town. The instructions on where to meet were super clear, and we got there 15 minutes early as instructed. The guide showed up a couple minutes later, and immediately I really liked her. I let her know that we had bought 8 tickets, but 2 of our friends were delayed because of a flight cancellation, and even though they had a clear no cancellation policy, she made a quick phone call, and in about 2 to 3 minutes got me a refund for the friends who couldn't make it. Thank you, Naomi. She asked us about allergies, which was amazing because I am allergic to seafood, and I figured I would just have to skip a couple of things that we'd be tasting. She took some notes and sent some texts out, and any dishes that I couldn't eat were replaced by alternatives just like that. Naomi started with a quick introduction and asked everybody to share what the highlight of their trip had been so far. It was a great icebreaker, and it got everybody comfortable with each other very quickly. The first stop on our tour was Quatros, just a few minutes away. We felt like VIPs as we were led through the jam-packed cafe and into a private dining room at the back. Everyone settled in and started chatting, and within a minute or two, Naomi came in with the first tray. We all got something called a cordita, which is an espresso shot and just a splash of milk. They roast the espresso beans themselves, and it was incredible. The best way for me to explain how good this coffee was is just to tell you that we all went back for a cordita the next morning before heading to the cruise port. Right on the heels of that, still at our first stop, Naomi brought out these grilled croissants with Black Forest ham, Havarti cheese, and a guava butter that they make right there in-house. Mixing sweet and savory doesn't often work for me, but I will share that the next morning, along with the cordita that I bought, I got one of these to have with it. Before going on to our next stop, while I'm not new to cruising, I am a pretty new YouTuber, so if you'd be willing to hit the subscribe button down there, but that one right over there, I'd be grateful. And maybe that like button as well. Thank you in advance. Let's get back into it. On the walk to our next foodie stop, Naomi stopped at a couple of landmarks to share some quick history and a cool story or two. Admittedly, we'd never go on a historical walking tour, but these added quick cultural lessons were a really great part of the tour in the end. Our next stop was Cafe El Punto. Once again, we were met at the door and whisked straight back to a private room. This one with some absolutely stunning art on the walls. While this stop wasn't my favorite, it was still 8 out of 10 in my opinion. They started us off with alcapurria, which is a Puerto Rican root vegetable fritter stuffed with ground beef. And that was followed just a few minutes later by a ceviche, which obviously I couldn't eat. This was loved by almost everyone though, and it was a grouper fish with lime, avocado, sriracha, and cilantro. For me, they had prepared a vegetarian version, leaning much heavier on the avocado in place of the fish, of course. Like I said, not my absolute favorite, but overall, it was a great experience. And I should mention here that at El Punto, we spent the only money on an extra that we got on the entire tour. We knew that a pina colada, the drink invented in San Juan, was coming at our 4th stop, but this place offered pina coladas on ice rather than the frozen cocktail that we'd be getting a bit later. And oh boy, it was delicioso. After a bit more walking and a few additional facts being shared with us, we were all starting to feel the sun just a little bit. So Naomi had us all wait in a park overlooking the sea, and she ran off to get our next treats. She ran into Senor Paleta and came back with parcha, gourmet passion fruit popsicles that were exactly what we all needed. I've mentioned in previous episodes that for the most part, desserts don't get me excited, but I do love candy, especially sour candies. And these popsicles had a tartness that I loved. We were worried that they'd melt in the 90-degree heat, but honestly, they didn't last long enough to melt. We all huddled up to take this great picture together before the 5-minute walk over to our next stop, Casa Luna. This might have been my favorite, but honestly, it was so hard to pick a favorite because they were all so different. Once again, a private room was waiting for us, and as soon as we sat down, they brought us a pina colada. This time, it was the frozen version, which was also delicious. The thing that we all noticed about these is that they didn't taste like they came out of a machine like most pina coladas. They tasted fresh and, well, just amazing. A few minutes later, Naomi put all of these old wooden mortars and pestles in front of us. This was called Mofongo, and they had fried plantains in them. Our job, while waiting for the plates to arrive, was to mash the plantains to add to our coming criollo chicken, rice, and beans. This was an incredible plate of food, and while I don't have a picture of the final product because I was too excited about it to snap a shot before digging in, you basically pour the beans over the rice and then you mix it up with the plantains, and it was so good. From there, we headed to the main square and we walked off the food a bit. At this point, I think we were all pleasantly stuffed. So we took a few minutes to enjoy the square and then pose in front of the I Love San Juan sign. And then finally was on to our last stop for dessert. It was obviously just before the dinner rush because we pretty much had Vaca Brava all to ourselves. In fairness, it did start to fill up right after we got there, but this was a quick stop. The dessert was cheese flan. Don't know what that is? Well, neither did I until I tasted it. It's essentially individual cheesecakes. And remember that comment earlier about me and desserts? Well, cheesecake is up there battling for the title of my least favorite dessert. So I won't comment on this one, but I will say that most of the people in our group did like them. But if I was to offer the organizers a little bit of constructive feedback, I did notice a lot of unfinished desserts on the plates. Maybe San Juan has some other local desserts they might consider for these future tours. As the sun was setting, we all said our goodbyes. A few people tore off to do some shopping before the stores closed, while the rest of us found a rooftop patio with some great beers and great cocktails. As expected, we didn't need anything else to eat that night. We were full, we were happy with our tour, and enjoying drinks with some friends. Some old, some new. James, a new cruise friend for life, made plenty of time to spend with us on the ship, and we loved hanging out with him. If you've made it this long into my episode, you've hardly been waiting with bated breath to find out whether we liked it or not. We loved it, and we would all recommend it. $160 for 3 hours with an incredible guide, seeing some cool areas of Old Town, going to the spots that locals think are the best places to eat and drink seemed totally reasonable for what we got. We bought the tour through GetYourGuide. It's called the Old Town Foodie Walking Tour with Tastings, and it's earned 4.9 stars with almost 600 reviews. One thing to note is that you can go and book this directly with Flavors of San Juan, but they actually charge $3 more than booking it through GetYourGuide, which is odd, right? I'd tell you to ask for Naomi, but based on the reviews that I've heard, they've curated a handful of incredible guides that customers all seem to absolutely love. If you are going to San Juan, don't miss this tour. Like Melissa, who recommended it to me, I would absolutely do it again. I often stress out a little bit about finding some local gems when I travel, and truthfully, I don't always trust online recommendations, so this was a great way to do it. Thanks for watching. Leave me a message below and let me know if you've ever done an excursion that you would go and do again. And please do hit those like and subscribe buttons. Well, that's all about the San Juan Foodie Walking Tour, and that's my one virgin topic for today. Do you have any questions? Are there any topics that you'd like to hear about? Leave me a message below. And until next time, ahoy, sailor.